When Nick infiltrated a PW camp to rescue his comrades, he was horrified to find everyone strapped tightly to hospital beds. Even more disturbing, the IV bags were filled with all kinds of highly venomous insects. The venom extracted from these creatures was being continuously injected into human bodies, as if some terrifying experiment was underway. Nick couldn't afford to waste any time. Saving the captives was his top priority. But when he pulled back the blanket covering one of his comrades, the sight before him left him frozen in shock. His comrade's body had already undergone a horrific mutation. Before Nick could react, the mutant lunged at him and sank its teeth into him. In his dazed state, Nick felt a brief sense of sympathy for the spider before him, but he quickly realized that everything in this place was far too dangerous, so he ordered the entire facility to be burned down. Just a few days later, Nick's body began showing strange symptoms. He felt weak and exhausted all over, and strands of web-like material started emerging from the bite wound. At first, he assumed it was some kind of infection. He tried washing the strange substance away with water. That's when something bizarre happened. The kettle suddenly stuck firmly to his hand. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't shake it off. From that day on, Nick lost any chance of living a normal life. His limbs often moved on their own, displaying the instincts and behaviors of a spider. He tried desperately to act normal, but he couldn't overcome the influence of his altered genes. As time went on, Nick used his newly evolved powers to patrol the city's dark streets. Crime rates plummeted because of his actions. Nick became a hero known throughout the city, but a hero's ending is rarely a glorious death in battle. Sometimes it's watching the person you love most fall before your eyes, while being powerless to save them. The less power you have, the less responsibility you carry. So Nick did what many would call the most cowardly, yet most decisive thing imaginable. He took off his suit and sealed it inside a wall with his own hands, saying goodbye to the man known as Spider-Man. After returning to ordinary life, Nick opened a detective agency and barely made ends meet. He hired a female assistant to handle the office work, while he spent his days out in the field, taking on one case after another. One day, Nick received a new assignment. The target was a retired veteran named Edison. The job seemed simple. All he had to do was follow him and document his movements. The pay was $30. Nick thought it was just another routine case. What he didn't expect was that the man already seemed aware that someone was watching him. From the moment the surveillance began, every move Edison made felt like it was deliberately leading Nick somewhere.
You keep following me, it won't end the way you want it to.
It never does.
Edison suddenly turned and ran into an alley. Nick immediately chased after him. But halfway through, a car door swung open and knocked him to the ground.